Did you know that your 40s can be some of your most exciting years ever? Stay with me.
Dancing through the night, stronger, bolder, moving with grace, owning her story, she's setting the pace. Step by step, she's breaking the chains, living her life, she's changing the game. Power and beauty, rhythm and soul, African woman, she's taking control.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my show in her 40s, Unleashing the Daniamite Experience. Today, we're going to be talking about evolving relationships. Interesting. Yes. It's a whole series on its own. I know some of you are waiting to say, finally, we have gotten to this relationship. Calm down, calm down. This particular episode, we're going to be talking about general relationships, friendships, acquaintances, colleagues, and everything in between, family and all that. Next episode, don't worry, we'll enter the one that you've been waiting to hear. The genge, the relationship. Man and woman one. Yes. But for this episode, relationships in general. And the reason why I think it's important for me to discuss this is because in trying to, I'd almost say, judge other people for either not being or being certain things to you, you forget to also ask yourself how you're showing up for people as well. So you might complain about a particular friend doing something or not doing something. As they say, it's easy to point at other people's flaws without necessarily seeing our own. But when you take time to sort of review yourself, that's why I said this self-discovery. It's not an easy journey. You have to learn how to really be honest with yourself. So in life, growing up, different experiences, of course, I've met different people, I've made different friends, colleagues, co-workers, friends from school, friends from, different places, some random friends, some friends you meet at a social gathering and you guys just click. Some friends you meet in beer parlor or club and you guys just click and might even do business together and you never know. So it's always about who you are. It's not about where you meet people. Because if who you are shows up everywhere or anywhere, then people get to see the authentic version of you. Whether you're having fun or you're being serious, you're in a professional setting or in a casual setting or in a social gathering. It really doesn't matter. And so for me, meeting people has always, I would almost say, comes natural. Even though some people say maybe I look like a snob sometimes, I know, yes, I won't say I'm snobbish. I'm just particular about the people I surround myself with. I'm intentional about it, especially as I've gotten older and I understand my personality traits and the kind of things that maybe rub off of me the wrong way. So there are certain characters that I know that in as much as I like that person, I have to give gaps. So, there are some people, I'll give you an example. There are some people that they don't understand boundaries. If there's over-familiarity, disrespect to enter. They don't know how to maintain respect and familiarity. With those kind of people, once I sense you're that kind of person, I tend to sort of put a little bit of distance between us because respect is very important to me, for myself and for others. If I sense that you're the kind of person that can become disrespectful because we have become very familiar, I leave a little bit of gap. So every time we see, it's almost like it's fresh, it's new. We maintain that, level of respect for each other. So it doesn't turn to where you start hitting me on the head and be feeling like you can disregard me and those kind of things. Yes, of course, it's happened occasionally, sometimes when you don't even expect it. But it's just saying that, like I said, I've gotten to know the kind of person I am. So I'm careful about the kind of people I surround myself with, especially, I would say, on a frequent basis, so to speak. I get along with different kinds of people. Really doesn't matter. But I can still choose who I want to spend my time with or whose energy I want to be around. Some people can be draining, like they're negative all the time. Sometimes they're even just in a cheerful mood. You call this person and the next thing they go on and on about what's wrong with the world, what's wrong with the country, how things are not going well. And by the time you get off the phone, you are drained. And you're like, I called this person so excited about something and it just brought my entire spirits down. No, 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 we're not having that here. Positive vibes only. Only. If it's negative, please keep it moving. So, like I said, I've met different people, I've formed different friendships. Some of those people I still talk to, some I don't talk to anymore, some were almost like strangers. But I would almost say there are very few people I'll say I've had like a proper falling out with, to the point where we don't even want to see ourselves. We don't want to hear each other's names kind of vibes. Yes, I've had a couple of situations where I've been shocked. Shocked, I would say, in terms of how the other party maybe reacted to certain things or how they chose to deal with certain situations that came up or that happened. But to each their own. We all deal with stuff differently. And I can't necessarily hold you responsible for how you choose to react or how you choose to deal with a particular situation. I might not like it, I might not understand it even, but hey, I have to respect it because the truth is there are probably certain choices I also make that people don't really understand. Can see my nose is fine away. Yeah, I did it sharp, sharp as we were waiting to do all this shoot. So you don't have an excuse. You can look fine all the time. Don't have an excuse. Let me just tell you that all this one, yeah, me too. I'm learning, but 2025, I made the what they call it now, my goal. I say never to be caught on fresh. As long as I'm leaving my house, I'm going out, I will make up. Even if it's light makeup, I wish I do small something so that when I go out, I wish I look presentable. In case, as my mother will say, every time you go out of your house, you don't know what will happen. You don't know who you will meet. You don't know what would arrive. Someone might call you and you have to quickly go somewhere. You might not have time to go back home to change. I digress as usual. Back to relationships. So, like I said, I can't control how people react. I can't control, I mentioned in previous episodes, I've been cut off. I've cut off people. And that's part of life. It's part of growing. It's part of evolving. It's part of also discovery, so to speak. So, certain things that you guys might have bonded over, you might have outgrown it or they might have outgrown it. And so the friendship just naturally goes their separate ways. It doesn't stop you guys from still keeping in touch, occasionally checking up on each other and those kind of stuff. But it doesn't necessarily mean you are as tight as it used to be. So you had some friends that once upon a time you guys were seeing yourselves every day. You were practically in each other's houses, or you might have even lived together, maybe like in uni, hostel, that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like you're strangers. And the only time you exchange messages, maybe someone's birthday or someone posts something and you comment on it and those kind of stuff. And that's okay. I've learned not to feel any type of way about it. I don't know about other people, but I'm just speaking for myself. I've learned to be okay with it because sometimes you have friends for a season, you have friends for a reason. You meet people for different reasons, and you really don't know why. Only God knows why certain people come into your life. And I've learned to appreciate it. So, yeah, you have different friends for different seasons, different reasons. And I've learned to just appreciate people while I have them. And hopefully, I'm also being appreciated while they have me. That's okay. That's okay. But I think one of the key things I'd like to talk about is managing relationships. Sometimes we abuse relationships because we assume that we have access to certain people. We take it for granted. So I would say, especially in situations of, I'd say maybe like in a work scenario, you have access to people maybe based off of where you've worked, people you've met along the way, people you've worked with, and those kind of things. And we've all grown. So, for example, is people I worked with in maybe the first or second place. In fact, everywhere I've worked, everybody has moved up the chain career wise. I've also moved up the chain career wise. So imagine me still treating you like that, maybe junior exec that I used to know. Whereas now you're maybe a head of a department or you're heading a big you're heading a company, you know, you have teams of people reporting to you, and then I'm treating you as if, is it not this person that was my junior? I trained him or I trained her. It doesn't matter. Like, that's life. We all grow. I don't want somebody to treat me with my former years. No, I want you to treat me as the Temitope Daniel of today, MD, CEO, podcast owner, content creator. Ah, oh, see, you can go and check my LinkedIn profile. I'm not going to talk too much. Yes, yes. But just say, like, so you have to respect people where they are, not where they used to be. So the fact that you have that familiarity of relationship in the sense that we've come a long way creates a bond. But you also have to be very careful not to abuse it. I have people that we were colleagues, you know, years ago. Now they're MDs of companies, they're heads of organizations. Every time or anytime I want to have a meeting with them, I wait my turn. If I send a message, I say, oh, please, I'd like to have a meeting with you. When do you think you'll be available? If it's a phone call or if it's a physical meeting, let me know when you're available. Sometimes they give me a response immediately. Sometimes they don't respond immediately. I don't get offended because hey, I don't know what your day is like. I don't know what you're up to. I won't say, oh, because we've known ourselves, you should reply me immediately. You should create time for me. No. Maybe it's me that say I want to see you. So yes, you have to respect their time. You have to respect the responsibility that they have now. And that was something that I think just because I started interacting with working class people from a young age, I quickly learned that. And I quickly learned that it doesn't matter the relationship you have with, in fact, let me tell you a story. And I think that was one of the things that buttressed it. When I was doing catering, I remember my uncle, he works with the government, fantastic guy, he's always supported me in everything I do, supported my mom, my family, fantastic. So when I was doing catering, and then because he works with the government, they were doing conference, convention, something like that. So they wanted to cater for about 1,000 people every day for 3 or 4 days. That was a huge contract. So luckily for me, because I'd done some stuff for him, a few of his colleagues and contemporaries had tasted the food. So it was easy for him to say, this person, I think she can handle this. And that was fantastic. Naturally, so I had clients that my mom had to show up because some people don't look at me like one tiny girl also come and collect millions or hundreds of thousands. Where is your madam? I don't call my mother. Mommy, they're asking for madam. Oh. She will follow me so that they will see that, okay, there's an older person in charge of this business, so to speak. And that's also something that you have to be humble because I could have taken offense and said, what do you mean? I'm the owner. And it really didn't matter. That person didn't necessarily feel safe with a university girl collecting this amount of money to go and do catering. It's as simple as. It's not because they didn't trust me, but they don't know me. So I had to prove myself. So anyways, I got this job. Fantastic. So it gives us day and time. Oh, come and pick up the advance payments. So we went to his office at the ministry in Alausa. My mom and I went and we're at the reception. We sat at the reception for maybe 2 hours, almost 3 hours. I had been grumbling. I started grumbling and complaining. But it's the one that said we should come now. Why are we now still waiting? When he said we should come, I thought that meant that they were ready. We would have just come, picked up what we needed to do, and I'll be going. And my mother was like, Auntie, do you know what could have happened between when he gave us the appointment and when we came? Like, we are the ones coming to collect money. Other people could have been coming to discuss other things. And so he will prioritize them over, you are here to collect money. Some other people might be bringing money or bringing deals. And so calm down, be patient. Oh my grumbled. Oh. There was nothing I was going to go and do at all. But just the fact that I was just sitting there, because I'm a restless person, let me use that as my excuse. Because I was a restless person. And maybe the childish, immature part of me, I was just grumbling. I couldn't. My mom got so fed up. And she was like, oh, madam, please, I beg, I beg, I beg. If you know that you cannot sit down here patiently, please be going home. Me, I will sit down and wait. I was like, you wait. Okay, no problem. That's how I carried myself and went home. Anyway, my mom waited, collected the money, came back home. Me, it's my foolish self. I was not asking her, so mommy, how are we going to do? She don't look at me, say, which work? Maybe you could not wait to collect the money. It's not your work now. I will execute the job. No need. So that's how those 3 days They did everything because really and truly, my mom really supported me, even in my business. She's the one that knew all the best olokpos. Those are people that cook food. The one that knew the this, knew the that, helped me with referrals, helped me. So she really was a strong backbone for my business at the time. And she also helped me maintain things like quality. So she was always very particular about not cutting corners, making sure you maintain certain standards so that people know you for that. Even if that means that you might be slightly pricier than your competition, but the people that would know you would appreciate your value and they'll pay for that. And that really helped me. So long and short, my mom executed the job, the 3 days, everything. Oh no, it wasn't even that first day I asked her. So I just kept quiet. Shame did not allow me ask anything. We finished everything. So at the end of the job, I now say, mommy, let's do accounts so that you know what was spent and what remained. And she looked at me and said, accounts for what? I said, for the work we just did. I said, which work did you do? And she you you say you could not wait to collect the money. So if I did not go with you, that's how you'd have left because you say you could not wait to collect the money. Long and short, that's how I did not make one kobo of that job. One kobo like this, I did not see. I can't remember. Maybe she pitied me and dashed me 20K or something. I can't remember, but long and short, it was not me that executed the job. It was my company. But that particular one, the profit did not go to me. I can imagine how big that job was. But because of my impatience, because of my assumption that because, oh, it was my uncle, he already gave us a date and a time, then why did we get there? And then he's now wasting our time. Ah, and my mother is like, Oti ready. You are not ready to do contracts. You are not ready to do government work. So you think you will just come. And it should, even in private sector. So someone might give you an appointment and things change. And they might not have time to send you a message or call you to tell you, oh, sorry, oh, I might be 30 minutes late. You might need to wait in the reception. But now, my older self, I've learned. So if I go to someone's office, even though they gave me an appointment, they say, oh, 4 o'clock, I'm there before 4. The receptionist say, oh, please wait. I will wait. Even if it's 20 minutes, I will wait. Because I don't know what they're dealing with. I don't know what has come up before I got there. And that's also saying that that's how I would also like to be treated. I won't like someone to come to my office and start feeling entitled to my time. No, I think that would be a bit disrespectful, but I learnt the hard way, sha. But I learnt, nonetheless, I learnt. But just say that that experience actually taught me to respect people and to also be patient and humble because I don't know what I was rushing home to go and do. Like I said, nothing really. So it wasn't as if there was any important thing I was going home to do. I was just tired of just sitting down in one person's reception and just looking. And you know the way the ministry offices. No, it's not very funky. Yeah. So at the time I was just like, what was all this? Yeah. So that taught me, it taught me a grave lesson. And I think the reason why it even stuck was because my mom did what she did. So if she had come back home and said, oh, okay, this is the money, oh, go and do the job, I might not have really learnt the lesson. But because she did not even, I didn't even benefit from the job. It was pretty much her showing me that if I wasn't there with you and you left, you would have lost that job. You would have lost that contract. Full stop. So that learning stuck because she followed through in the, it wasn't a punishment, but she followed through in the learning, so to speak, in the experience. So it stayed. So I've learned to respect people's time. I've learned to respect relationships. It's the same thing. Even when you go out and you see people you know, see, I might know you from the other side of the fence. But if we see ourselves in a formal environment, we'll greet ourselves as if I will be better person. Okay, my people, we had a small break in transmission. You know the way they say, hey, life happens, even with your best laid plans. Man proposes and God just laughs. So yeah, we're back. I think I was talking about respecting people, respecting the position they hold, respecting the office they hold, respecting who they have become. And that works fantastically. And I think from a professional standpoint, that's one of the, I'd say, best things you can do for yourself, because it also automatically guarantees that people respect you as well. Because if you conduct yourself with respect and you respect other people, people would naturally also treat you the same way. And like I said, for me, it's very important. Respect is one of those things I don't compromise on. And that's because I believe everybody deserves to be treated like a human being. Everybody deserves to be treated with respect. And the way they say, treat people the way you'd like to be treated. Yeah, I try. I'm not perfect. I try. So maybe from a professional standpoint, I it's easier to sort of maintain those boundaries and kind of stuff. But when we're talking about friendships, that's a whole other animal in of itself, because there's familiarity, there's sometimes messiness, there's drama. You guys are sort of exposed a lot more into each other's lives. So you sort of see the mess behind the package, so to speak. Especially if you have close friends, you know. You've been through stuff together, you've experienced high, lows, maybe relationships that didn't work, businesses that didn't work, even other friendships that didn't work, you know, and those kind of stuff. You've also explored things together, maybe traveled together if you're lucky, you know, done stuff together, explored places together, restaurants, museums, art, all those kind of stuff. So you generally get to build a stronger bond. And then there's a lot of familiarity as well. So sometimes those lines can get blurred because you don't know how to sort of navigate. I don't know how I want to explain it, but yeah, the lines can just get a bit more blurry. And I think what I am learning now. Okay, so we're back. See, inside shooting this episode, I'm expecting a client to come and visit this place. So in between, anyway, like I said, it's raw and it's unfiltered. Wee wee, wee wee. Yeah, we are going to kill multiple birds with one stone. So back to evolving relationship. With friendships, I had to learn to let people go. And I also had to learn to be let go of. I had to learn to be okay with being let go of, because sometimes you miss certain people, you miss certain friendships, maybe in the context of what it was or what you guys were to each other. But maybe you've outgrown it, they've outgrown it, or, you know, you never know. But you have to be okay with it, because otherwise you spend too much time dwelling on what could have been, what was, what didn't happen, what happened, what you could have done differently. So most times it's just to look at it, appreciate it for what it was, appreciate the time you got to spend together, appreciate whatever it is that you contributed to each other's lives, and be okay with that. If you still keep in touch, fantastic. Once in a while you reach out, hey, how you doing? Been a minute, or happy birthday, you know, at all, we'll talk twice a year. My birthday and your birthday. That's okay. You know, sometimes. And in this whole journey, I think, you know, the way they say when God wants to elevate you, he strips you. Mm. He stripped me. He stripped me. Like he stripped me my, what I thought was like my support system in terms of friends. He stripped me. Let me just put it that way. And I had to learn to not take it personal, because at the time I felt abandoned, I felt neglected, I felt like what was going, because it was pretty much like a ghosting. You know, it's one thing if you say, oh, you fell out with someone, you can say, oh, this is what happened, this is how it happened. It was almost like we went from gisting regularly to all of a sudden I don't hear from you, no messages, no calls, no nothing, like you just black, like ghost, proper ghosting. So I was confused in my head. I'm like, okay, well, initially, of course, you know, like different stages of grief. Initially, was a case of, okay, what happened? What was going on? But at the same time, I also was like, look, I don't always want to be the bigger person. Sometimes myself, let me to be the small person. I beg, I beg, I beg. Let me to be petty. Me too, I'm in my feelings. Me too, I'm emotional. So I'm not always level-headed. And that's okay too. I'm a human being. I'm not a robot or a machine. So yes, I might be a lot further along in this whole self-discovery, self-awareness journey, blah, blah, blah. But I'm still human. I'm still a regular babe. I'm still flesh and blood, you know. So I just felt like, okay, to the point where I even got to anger because I started wondering, okay, so even if I did something wrong, like how bad could that thing be that you can't call me to say, ah, madam, you did this, or I heard you said this or did this, whatever it is, and then we can trash it, even if it means we're still not going to be friends. Well, maybe even if that would be the case, but at the very least, based off of what we've shared and all those kind of stuff, I expected that, like, how bad can that conversation be that we can't have it? We've been through so much shit, you know. I know, yeah, it's a bit of a sensitive topic for me, and I weighed discussing or not discussing it, but the truth is, it was something that really got to me because I felt, like I said, I felt abandoned. Let me put it that way. But at the same time, everything I say, I give God. Say, well, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what you're trying to do, but whatever it is, I give it to you, and that's where faith comes in. You have to hold that faith, hold it strong, especially if you believe God on his throne knows what he's doing and he's planning the best for you. So I had to just let it go and be like, okay, you know what? I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's happening. Maybe this relationship will come back in a few months, in a few years, whatever the case may be. But for right now, for some reason, you just feel like we should be apart from each other. Might be for me, might be for the other party. I don't know really. So I'm seeing it from my own story. They might also be experiencing things from their point that sort of validates this separation, so to speak. So I had to just be okay with it and be like, okay, you know what? I don't understand it, but I know that there's a reason behind anything I don't understand. So I had to let it go. And when I say God strips you, that was probably one of the biggest stripping because all this that I've been doing in the past few months, it was just me pretty much. I can't say just me because God also brought other people to sort of support me. So maybe not from places that I expected, but it still did not leave me alone. And that's the most important thing. God never leaves you alone. He might not it might not come the way you expect or from the angles you expect it to come from, but he always has you covered. He always, always, always has you covered. So I have had fantastic and tremendous support, even in this stripping. But I also had to now learn to go through the different emotions without being bitter. Like I said, I went through confusion, anger, sadness, hurts, all those different feelings. Like when you break up with somebody, yes, I went through all those feelings. But at the same time, luckily, I made new friends. I met, maybe not necessarily even, I made new friends, but I also rekindled friendships, so to speak. And that helped because through this whole journey, maybe I needed a different set of people around me to push me, to motivate me, to not let me sit on my ass kind of stuff, you know. I'm not saying that the friends I had would let me sit on my ass, but just saying I just needed a different thing. I might not have realized it, but that's what it was, and this is what is evolving to be. So I'm just going with the flow. Me, I'm pencil in the hands of the creator, as they say. Remember that super story quotes? Yeah, we're all but pencils in the hand of, yes. So use me as you will, dear Lord. Write the story that you created me for. I'm okay with it. So yeah, I learned to be okay with that. And it still doesn't change the fact that, of course, I miss those friendships, I miss those relationships. I would like to know what went wrong. Yeah, but I've also learned to have closure by myself. You know, that one is the relationship part. When we enter that part, that's the sweet part. But yeah, closure also comes not just from romantic relationships, even in platonic relations. Sometimes you have to have closure because it's not every time you have a conversation before the friendship goes, grows apart or goes their different ways. So you have to be okay with, yeah, this might have ended in the form that it was, but it doesn't change the fact that there's still that bond, there's still that connection. There are people that maybe I don't see sometimes in 2, 3 years. And then when we see each other, it's almost like we never stopped. We're catching up, we're gisting, we're laughing, we're so excited. Like it was 2 days ago we saw ourselves. So there are certain bonds that you can't fake. It's energy, it's connection, there's just something between you guys. So either as friends, colleagues, whatever. I have colleagues, I've been fortunate. I've had people that I've worked with that we've become very good friends. In fact, to the point of even being family friends, safe, kind of, that kind of stuff. So it's not even a case of, oh, anyhow friendships. No, like proper deep friendships. And I've been lucky. I always say that I've been lucky because, yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. And I don't take it for granted because I genuinely I'm grateful for all those different friendships because all those different friendships have come to teach me something. And I think maybe another friendship that I will talk about is with my mom. And with a lot of people, even myself included, for a long time, there was always that barrier of mother, daughter, mother, daughter, mother, daughter. And I think COVID changed that for me fantastically. I keep saying that 2020 was a defining year for me because, first of all, I deepened my relationship with my mom. I deepened my relationship with my half siblings. So I come from a polygamous family, even though I didn't necessarily grow up in a polygamous home because I lived with my mom. So it was just my mom and my siblings. So I didn't get to experience all that, polygamous home drama. But I always knew I had older siblings. I'd met a couple of them growing up and stuff, but they didn't live in the country. So we didn't really have a relationship. So come 2020, so there'd been, yeah, some other drama over the years, so certain people didn't necessarily want to connect and whatnot. You deal with all those things, you deal with it. But we finally got to a place where as siblings we're like, look, you know what? We all, because we had different moms. Some people had the same moms, but there were different women in this polygamous mix. It wasn't like, oh, a polygamous house with just two wives. No, there were several. My daddy was a player. With 14 kids from, I think, about five women or so, 5 or 6 women, I think, thereabouts. So you can imagine. And everybody, of course, everybody sort of, I think initially everybody was sort of defending their own mothers because most of us heard different stories or different perspectives from our mothers. And that was sort of what kept us apart, to a certain extent. I think when we finally got a chance to click was when we were all just like, look, you know what? These women are not related. We are the ones that are related by blood. So how about we get to know ourselves as siblings and forget whatever stories you've heard growing up or whatever, just let's just know ourselves. And we decided, in fact, one of my sisters was like, oh, her office, they started doing this weekly Zoom calls just to check up on each other and, keep up with what's happening in each other's lives. And just because, that interaction wasn't there again in the office. So it won't just be that it was only meetings, 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 meetings. So we said, oh, fantastic. Let's do the same thing. So we started doing Sunday calls. And on these Sunday calls, whoever was available would tune in, join, we'll cut up with each other's weeks, what's been happening, what we're going through, how we're dealing with the pandemic, all those kind of stuff. We got to see each other's families. So sometimes kids, spouses will join the call. My mom said would join the call sometimes because I still lived at home with my mom during the pandemic. Yeah. So it was fun. And for the first time, I knew I was at home. I knew I was at home because I think I mentioned it before that my mom said it's a bit, this is how they say we should do it, kind of. They are fun-loving people, fantastic. When I say fantastic, I grew up with fantastic role models, fantastic. And that's probably part of what has made me who I am. Well, maybe I'll do one dedication episode to the people that have contributed in my life. Some might not even know to what extent, but yeah. But for the first time, getting to know my siblings, I finally saw where this my skoin-skoin-ish came from. I was like, alas, this is it. It's this side of the family. It's this side. Yeah, I get it. So maybe it's my dad's genes. I don't know. But, oh, yeah, I loved it. I can't lie. I had a fantastic time in those 3 months that we were consistent with the weekly calls. We got to know each other as individuals, not as this person's daughter or this person's son. No, it's as my brother, as my sister. And we formed such a bond that now we pretty much know what's happening in each other's lives. So once in a while, we have a family WhatsApp group where we gist and chat. Sometimes one person just post picture. Oh, see what's happening. My son did this or my daughter is doing this. It's so person, and all those things just it made me feel whole because I no longer felt like there was a part of my life that was missing. I no longer felt like there was a part of myself that I really did not know or really did not understand. It changed the game for me. Let me put it that way. In the game, in sense of the game of accepting myself, it changed it. And I think that was probably what propelled this whole acceptance journey, so to speak. And then with my mom, oh my God, I think for the first time, we became friends. So we've always been sort of close, I would say, closer than a lot of mother daughter kind of friends. But for the first time, we got to know each other as individuals, not as, oh, this is my mother, or this is my daughter. It was more as, this is a young woman that I'm getting to know, and this is an older woman I'm getting to. So it's like having an older woman friend or having a younger woman friend. In my case, I'm the younger woman friend. And we genuinely got to just talk about life, talk about different. In fact, there was something I'm like, Mommy, you should have told. See, all these things you had told me since when I was young. There are some things that I might have done differently, all those kind of stuff. And we laugh about it like, no, 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 no. Certain things you don't tell your young daughter. Like now we can have these conversations because yeah, so you obviously it's about sex and men and those kind of stuff. Yeah. Mhm. Now we can have these conversations because, of course, you're older, you're more mature, and we can talk about it as adults. And for me, that changed the game because from that point on till now, there's very little that I can't tell my mom. In fact, if anything, as it's happening in my head, I'm like, I can't wait to gist my mom because I know she will have something to say, she will have something to ask, she will have something. So I genuinely enjoy talking to her about certain things because first of all, I think she's one of the smartest women that I've ever known. I don't know about you people, but me personally, I think my mom is one of the smartest people. She's level-headed, she's kind, she's thoughtful, she's generous. She's like a lot of the good things about me, I got it from her. Even this babeness, I got it from her. If not from my mother, I'll be one tomboy that just wearing jeans and going up and down. Even this my short hair, she fought me for a long time. So I'm just like, just this, yes, yes. And because we also got to a point of mutual respect, even though she might not necessarily understand some of my choices or some of the things I do, she's learned to just allow it because she knows that there's sense to my madness. And there's sense to my madness, there's a method to my madness. And that could only happen because we got to know each other better and we got to genuinely respect each other. And for me, I won't trade that for the world. So it's just one of those things. And it's helped me also become more level-headed because my mom is very level-headed. Me, I'm the flighty one. So sometimes when you talk to her with about certain things, she's able to bring, but your emotions are already going, okay, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, calm down, calm down. But what of how about I'm like, yeah. I was telling one of my friends, I was like, he was like, you talk to your mom every day. I was like, yeah. I said, if I don't talk to my mother one day, by the next day, she already say, oh, girl, I'm like, Mommy, it was only yesterday we didn't talk. Say, it seemed like it was long. I said, Mommy, it was only yesterday that we did not talk. Eh, yeah, but I love it. I love it. And I appreciate it because I know that even if nobody find me, this world, Mama Dogbe will find me at all, at all. If my phone does not ring from morning to night, one person at least will call me, and that's my mother. I love it. I love it, and I do not take it for granted. So, Mommy, I love you. Back to relationship. So I think it also became now in this whole evolving relationships, I had to ask myself what kind of person I wanted to be, what kind of daughter did I want to be, how did I want to show up for my family and my friends. Because as I mentioned earlier, it's easy to say, oh, this person is not doing, that person is not doing. Yeah, it is. But have you asked yourself what you're doing or not doing? So I had to be clear about the kind of daughter I wanted to be, the kind of sister I wanted to be, I'm still learning, So some of these things is saying that I'm discovering that I want to be better at it because I know I'm not the best when it comes to relationships. I know. Thank God. God gave me the people that will pull me out of my shell every time I'm trying to Yes, it will pull me back. Every time I try to huddle back, they will just come back out. Yes. And so it's helped me to learn how to show up for people because I grew up in a family where we show up for each other regardless, you know. And that taught me. So even when I grumbled about having to go for another family function, another one, cousin, auntie, something, something, I might grumble about it, like, "Ah, do I have to go?" Like, I don't even really know that. My mom is like, yeah, we have to go because, you know, and because of that, you learn how the power of community because we all support each other and it's easier to be supported when you also support other people because it's like a give and take relationship. You can't expect people to always be there for you, but then when the tables are turned, you don't show up for people and then you think that they will just do it for you just because, you know. I think a lot of what I benefit is because my mom always shows up for people. So maybe by preview of some of our good luck, I get some of the sprinkle and some of the blessings. I appreciate it. Thank God. While me, I'm working on my own self and how I will. But yeah, so I had to learn who I wanted to be in these different relationships, the kind of friend I wanted to be, the kind of daughter, the kind of sister, the kind of, well, hopefully at some point I've gone kind of wife, kind of mother, you know. Amen. Amen. We're getting there slowly but surely. So it's been an interesting journey and that's all also part of the self-discovery phase because in asking how I wanted to show up for others, I had to ask myself who I wanted to be because who I wanted to be is what was important. It's not about pretending. It's about being that person that you know you are. So if you say, "Oh, I'm a thoughtful, generous, considerate person," it's not conditional. It's either you are or you aren't. You're not thoughtful and considerate when you're in a good mood. Then that means you're not thoughtful and considerate. It's just maybe to certain people when you feel a certain way, when you are happy. But if you are thoughtful and considerate, even when you're in a bad mood, you're still thoughtful and considerate. Even when somebody pisses you off, you're still thoughtful and considerate. So many people will tell you it's very rare to see me angry. Like I rarely get no. It would take a lot for you to piss me off to the point where like I'm vibrating, you know, those kind of anger. It's very rare because most times I'm able to put myself in the other person's shoes and be like, okay, I told you I like to understand why people do what they do and all those kind of stuff. So if you do something to me, the first thing I'm asking myself is, why did you do this? Or why did you think it was okay to do this to me? I can't change you acting a certain way, but I can change maybe how I conducted myself to make you feel like it was. So, like if someone is maybe rude to me, I'm asking myself, what did I do to make this person feel like they can be rude to me? Like, like, what did I say? How did I make you feel like it's okay for you to disregard me or talk to me anyhow? Ah, ah, I hate it. I hate it. Yes, I hate it. I'm using Yoruba English. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my that disrespect, disregard. It's a it's like a no for me. But I digress. Going back, is more important about how I am, how I show up, and naturally that would translate to how people also treat you because of how you treat yourself and how you treat other people. So if you want to be respected, you have to respect yourself. If you say you've created boundaries in your life for yourself, you have to enforce those boundaries because other people will try and blur it. You have to make sure you enforce it. So if you say, "Oh, I don't like certain things being done to me," when that thing is done, you correct it immediately. If you don't, then you just be like, she just said it now. She's not really sure about it. No, I'm sure. I didn't just say it in the moment. It's something that is important to me, so I would stand by it so that the other person realizes that this thing is a big deal to me. Might not be a big deal to another friend, but to me in particular, I don't like this certain behavior or I don't like this, you know, whatever it is or whatever it might be. And so D yeah. So I'm learning and hopefully I'm becoming better as well. Hopefully, I'm trying to be a better sister, a better mom, better cousin, better auntie, better whatever. Although some of those relationships might have gone down the drain. I don't know why, how. In the stripping, some of those relationships, I don't know if we would ever get back to where we were, but might also evolve to something even better. I don't know. But for now, it's just more about myself and what I can do in the process of this, maybe even forming new friendships, new relationships. You never know. But as we're going through this cycle, I'm also learning to appreciate that my mom is getting older. As I'm getting older, she's also getting older. So certain things are not quite the same thing. As much as luckily, maybe in my family we have good genes or something, I don't know. Still strong, hale and healthy. No, hale and hale and hearty. Ah, hale and healthy, yeah, hale and hearty. And, so thank God for that. And I'm able to appreciate that. But I'm also learning to make the most of this time that we have together because nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody prays for bad stuff to happen, but just cherish the moments you have. Friends, family, whatever it is, cherish those moments, enjoy those moments, and don't spend time focusing on what's not going right, what's wrong all the time. There are a lot of things that are going right. So I would rather spend my time appreciating those things that are going right, appreciating the role different people play in my life, and maybe vice versa as well. Hopefully, I'm also playing a positive role in other people's lives, but just learning to appreciate those things, and it just gives you a better outlook to life. It makes you a more positive person because if we focus on just the negatives, we won't be grateful for anything because sometimes it always seems like there are more negatives than positives. But right now, I think I'm in a place where I can say I'm grateful for the people I've met in my life. Maybe not everybody has served their purpose, but everybody will still serve their purpose by God's grace. Everybody will serve their purpose. Whether it's money, there is value, whatever the case may be, they will bring it into my life and vice versa. Me too, I'll serve my purpose in other people's lives by the grace of God. That's why I'm doing some of all this, because if I don't do it, I can't step into that wholesomeness of me. I won't be able to give what you can't give what you don't have. So I'm trying to have as much as possible so that I can also give. Like, I'll use an example. Imagine if you go to the stream to fetch water every day, but then you have people in your compound that are constantly coming to take from your drum of water. You don't mind, maybe because you're a generous person, and that's fine. But at some point, it'll start to drain you because you have to constantly go to the stream or the river to fetch water. So at some point, you start to get maybe irritated, upset, annoyed, grumpy about the fact. Even if you started out offering to say, oh, guys, I have 3 drums of water now, you can take from, you can take. But after a while, it starts to seem like they're constantly taking. But you are the one that has to keep doing that journey to go and fetch. But imagine if you had a well or a tap, a plumbing system, where all people had to do was just open the tap and fetch water. Even if there are 100 people coming to fetch water from your house every day, you can't get upset. You can't get disgruntled because the tap is there, the well is there, the water is going to be flowing any which ways. It costs you nothing. Like, the only effort you probably made was building or creating that system. So maybe while I was digging for the well or the borehole, creating the plumbing system or whatever, yes, that might have been a process. And in that period, I can tell the people, say, guys, right now, I'm the only one going to the stream to fetch water. Cannot accommodate everybody coming to get water. Maybe I can only give 2 people per day. When this well is up and running, the whole village can come and be fetching water. And that's how I see myself as a person. I'm trying to create that irrigation system, that well that is constantly replenished so that I'm not drained when I'm pouring into others. I'm not drained when I'm giving of myself because my replenishment source is everlasting. Like, I don't have to actively be chasing that replenishment. It just happens. I've dug the well. I've created the irrigation system. So all I can do is keep pouring into other people's lives, into, you know, whatever the situation might be. And so this is me creating my irrigation system, digging my well, digging my borehole, whatever the case may be, so that I can give more of myself to not just the people around me, to the world. Like I told you guys, the moon is just the starting point. I've not started. We're just starting, rather. It's a long way to go. So in this whole evolving, There's still so many relationships I have not even started at all. There's still so many people I have not met at all. There are some people that don't even know my name today, but tomorrow they will know my name. Maybe I become one of their closest friends, confidants, coach, friend, lover, whatever it may be, And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm genuinely looking forward to it. There's so many interesting people out there. I'm also an interesting person. So, hey, if you have not met me yet, you're lost. Try it, try it. Okay, I'm not going to talk too much. I said part 2 is the sweet part. I'll see you next episode. Thank you for staying with me. I love you all. Bye.